Close your eyes. Take a deep, slow breath in and let it out. Feel the weight of the day slowly lifting off your shoulders. When the mind refuses to shut down and the night stretches on in the quiet hours before dawn, the world down here can feel too loud, too heavy, and too fast. But you do not have to stay here. Tonight, we are going to leave the noise behind. We are going to travel far away from the glowing screens, the ticking clocks, and the endless rush of human life. We are going on a journey into the great, quiet dark. Out there, in the vast ocean of the cosmos, there is no hurry. There is no stress. There are only giant, ancient spheres of ice and gas, drifting peacefully in the absolute silence of space. Let the gravity of Earth release its hold on you. Let your thoughts drift away like stardust. You are safe. You are weightless. And as we float deeper into the universe, you can finally allow yourself to rest. Welcome to Silence of Space. We tell the universe. Imagine yourself floating gently upward. The solid ground beneath you falls away, replaced by the soft, cool mist of the clouds. You are rising, slowly and effortlessly, through the layers of the atmosphere. The scattered lights of the cities below begin to blur and fade, turning into tiny, insignificant glowing embers. The sounds of traffic, of voices, of the restless world, they all dissolve into a distant, muffled whisper, and then into perfect silence. You have crossed the Kármán line. You are now in space. Look back at the Earth. It is a beautiful, fragile blue marble, suspended in the dark. You can see the slow, majestic swirl of white hurricane clouds over the deep blue oceans. You can see the sun setting on the edge of the horizon, casting a long, peaceful shadow across the continents. Up here, there are no borders, no conflicts, and no daily anxieties. Everything that felt so overwhelming just a few moments ago is now just a tiny speck on a quiet, floating world. There is no air resistance here. There is no friction. You are simply gliding through the vacuum, moving with the slow, deliberate grace of a celestial body. The temperature is perfectly balanced. The darkness around you is not empty, it is a soft, comforting blanket of velvet black, dotted with the steady, calm light of a billion distant stars. They do not twinkle up here, they just shine with a gentle, eternal constancy. Take another deep breath. Let the absolute stillness of Earth's orbit wash over you. The journey has just begun, and there is nowhere else you need to be. As we drift further from our blue home, a large, pale sphere fills our view. It is the moon. For billions of years, it has been Earth's silent, loyal companion, keeping a watchful eye over the sleeping planet. We approach its silver surface, floating effortlessly over the vast, dark plains known as the Lunar Maria. We are descending toward the Sea of Tranquility. Despite its name, there is no water here. It is an ocean of ancient, pulverized gray dust. The landscape is entirely still. Because the moon has no atmosphere, there is no wind to stir the dust, no rain to wash away the ancient craters, and no weather to disrupt the perfect calm. It is a world frozen in time, a monument to absolute stillness. If you were to gently place your foot on the surface, your footprint would remain there, completely undisturbed, for millions of years. It is a place where nothing changes, and nothing is demanded of you. Imagine floating just a few feet above this silver sea. The gravity here is so weak, only 1/6 of what you are used to. You feel incredibly light, as if you are made of mist. The stark contrast between the bright, sunlit grey dust and the pitch-black sky above is strangely soothing. There is a profound sense of isolation here, but it is not a lonely isolation. It is the comforting solitude of a quiet room after a long, exhausting day. Look out across the horizon. The curved edge of the moon falls away against the endless dark. There are no sounds of nature, no rustling leaves, no crashing waves. Just the pure, unadulterated sound of silence. A silence so deep and so ancient that it feels like a physical presence, wrapping around you, calming your heartbeat, and slowing your breathing to match the tranquil rhythm of the lunar orbit. Leaving the silver, dusty plains of the moon behind, we drift further into the inner solar system. We are moving closer to the warmth of the sun, gliding silently through the empty, black ocean of space. Up ahead, a planet emerges from the darkness. It does not look like the Earth, with its sharp continents and deep blue oceans. Instead, it is a perfect, flawless sphere of soft, pale yellow and glowing gold. This is Venus. From a distance, Venus is the brightest jewel in the night sky, a beacon of steady, calming light. But as we slowly float closer, allowing its gravity to gently pull us in, we see that the surface is completely hidden. The entire planet is wrapped in a profoundly thick, unbroken blanket of opaque clouds. It is a world that has pulled the covers up over its head, completely sealing itself off from the rest of the cold universe. We will not descend to the harsh, crushing surface below. Instead, we are going to stay right here, floating effortlessly in the upper atmosphere. Up here, 50 kilometers above the ground, the environment is surprisingly calm, warm, and perfectly balanced. The thick clouds around you are not made of water, but they reflect the sunlight in a way that creates a soft, diffused, and endless amber twilight. There are no harsh shadows here. There is no blinding glare. Everything is bathed in a gentle, warm, golden haze that stretches out in every direction for thousands of miles. Time down on Earth is rigid, heavy, and punishing. The anxiety of the ticking clock, the night spent staring at the ceiling as the hours drag mercilessly towards 6 a.m., the heavy, disorienting exhaustion of finally waking up at 3 p.m. when the world has already moved on, none of that exists here in the golden clouds. Venus is a planet that has completely forgotten the meaning of urgency. It rotates so incredibly slowly on its axis that a single day on Venus actually lasts longer than its entire year. The sun does not rise and set in a frantic, 24-hour cycle. If you could see the sun through the haze, it would take months to cross the sky. Here, time stretches out. It slows down to an agonizingly beautiful crawl. You can feel the rush of your own thoughts beginning to match this planetary rhythm. The endless, slow-moving currents of the upper atmosphere gently carry you along, a sweeping, invisible river of warm gas holding you up, ensuring you never fall. Let the golden haze wrap around you like a heavy, weighted blanket, absorbing all the leftover tension in your muscles and allowing you to simply drift in the eternal twilight. Slowly, we leave the warm, enveloping clouds of Venus and drift outward, passing quietly by our own blue planet, moving deeper into the colder, quieter reaches of the solar system. The bright light of the sun begins to dim, softening into a more distant, gentle glow. Before us lies a world that has already lived its long, tumultuous life and has now entered a state of eternal, peaceful retirement. This is Mars. As we approach, the planet reveals itself as a mesmerizing canvas of deep rust, burnt orange, and pale ochre. There are no swirling oceans here, no chaotic weather systems, and no bustling cities. It is a world of magnificent, ancient deserts and profound, undisturbed silence. We float down toward the surface, drifting weightlessly over a landscape that has remained largely unchanged for billions of years. Below us is Olympus Mons, the largest volcano in the entire solar system. It is a staggering shield of rock, nearly 3 times the height of Mount Everest. But it is not angry. It is not violent. It has been fast asleep for millions of years. Its massive caldera, a gaping crater at its peak, is filled with nothing but cold, fine red dust and the quiet passage of time. Floating over its massive, sloping edges, you can feel the incredible age of this world. It is a monument to rest. A giant that has long since finished its work and simply settled into the ground to sleep forever. We glide onward, dipping slowly into the magnificent expanse of Valles Marineris, a canyon system so unimaginably vast that it would stretch entirely across the continent of North America. The walls of the canyon drop down into deep, shadowy abysses. The atmosphere on Mars is incredibly thin, just a tiny fraction of Earth's. Because the air is so thin, sound cannot travel far. If there is a wind moving through this massive canyon, it does not howl or roar. It is merely a ghostly, microscopic sigh, gently brushing microscopic grains of iron-rich sand against the ancient bedrock. As you float through the grand, silent corridors of the canyon, look up at the Martian sky. Because of the fine dust suspended in the thin air, the sky during the day is a soft, dusty butterscotch color. But as the distant, shrunken sun begins to set, the colors do not burn with the fiery reds and oranges of Earth. Instead, the Martian sunset paints the sky in cool, calming shades of deep, serene blue. It is a visual lullaby, a cooling down of the world. High above in that deepening blue twilight, 2 tiny, irregular moons, Phobos and Deimos, make their slow, silent transit across the heavens. They are like small, sleepy watchmen, keeping a quiet vigil over the dormant planet. Lie back in the weightlessness of your descent. Look out over the endless dunes of red sand stretching into the dark. Mars is a world that is completely at peace with its own silence. It demands nothing. It expects nothing. It only offers a quiet, ancient resting place in the dust, under a fading blue sky. Leaving the quiet red deserts of Mars, we venture further out into the deep, cold dark. We are crossing the vast, empty expanse of the asteroid belt, where ancient rocks drift silently in the void, completely undisturbed. As we pass through this scattered, ancient debris, a new presence begins to dominate the black canvas of space ahead. It is not just a planet, It is a monument to gravity, a colossal, swirling masterpiece of fluid dynamics. This is Jupiter, the undisputed king of our solar system. To approach Jupiter is to understand the true scale of the cosmos, but there is nothing to fear in its size. From a distance, it looks like a perfectly marbled sphere of creamy whites, soft caramels, deep browns, and muted, dusty reds. The planet is entirely wrapped in massive, horizontal bands of ammonia and water clouds that stretch endlessly across its immense equator. Because Jupiter is a gas giant, it possesses no solid surface. There is no hard ground to crash into, no jagged mountains to navigate. There is only depth. There is only a slow, eternal sinking into softness. Imagine yourself drifting effortlessly into the upper layers of this colossal atmosphere. You are enveloped by the giant's embrace. The sheer mass of the planet creates a powerful, steady gravitational pull, but it does not drag you down aggressively, rather, it anchors you. It holds you securely, like a heavy, comforting weighted blanket wrapped tightly around your shoulders, easing the lingering tension in your muscles. You are completely safe, suspended in a boundless ocean of pastel clouds. Look down at the great red spot. From Earth, it appears as a fierce, raging storm, but up close, in the slow-motion reality of cosmic time, it is a mesmerizing, hypnotic whirlpool. It is an anticyclone larger than the entire Earth, churning slowly, majestically, like a giant drop of dark red watercolor paint blending endlessly into a sea of pale cream. The winds here blow at hundreds of miles an hour, yet there is no sound in the vacuum of space, and inside the thick atmospheric layers, the roar is muffled into a deep, rhythmic hum. It is the steady heartbeat of a giant. As you float within the cloudy bands, watch the four massive Galilean moons, Io, Europa, Ganymede, and Callisto, performing their slow, eternal orbital dance around the planet. They circle Jupiter like a grand, silent cosmic mobile hung above a crib, casting long, soft, sweeping shadows across the swirling cloud tops. The light from the distant sun is filtered through the ammonia mist, creating a soft, warm glow that surrounds you. Let the sheer, incomprehensible size of Jupiter absorb all your small, earthly worries. Here, in the embrace of the gas giant, you are beautifully insignificant, perfectly weightless, and entirely at rest. We gently pull away from the thick, swirling clouds of Jupiter, letting the giant's gravity slingshot us toward one of its most mesmerizing companions. We are drifting toward Europa, a moon that looks like a fractured, glowing pearl suspended in the deep dark of space. As we approach Europa, the chaotic colors of Jupiter fade behind us, replaced by a blindingly bright, pristine white surface. This moon is entirely encased in a shell of solid water ice, miles and miles thick. The surface is crisscrossed with long, dark, reddish-brown lines, immense fractures and ridges where the ice has slowly cracked and refrozen over millions of years. It is a world that has been scarred by the immense tidal forces of Jupiter, yet it remains perfectly smooth, reflecting the distant sunlight like a flawless, spherical mirror. There is no atmosphere here to carry the sound of the cracking ice. The surface is a frozen, silent wasteland, bathed in a profound, unyielding cold. But we are not staying on the surface. We are going deeper. We are going to find the warmth hiding in the dark. Imagine yourself passing effortlessly through the solid, freezing crust. You are sinking down, through miles of ancient, compressed ice. The bright light of the sun quickly fades, transitioning from a brilliant white to a soft, muted blue, and finally, into absolute, flawless, pitch-black darkness. You have passed through the ceiling of the world. You are now floating in the subterranean ocean of Europa. This is a global, liquid ocean containing more than twice the amount of water found on all of Earth combined. It is a world entirely without a sky. Down here, in the abyssal depths, the concept of day and night completely ceases to exist. There are no changing seasons, no passing years, and no ticking clocks. The water is incredibly deep, incredibly dark, and perfectly, absolutely silent. But it is not freezing. Deep beneath you, at the very bottom of this alien ocean, the rocky seafloor is dotted with hydrothermal vents. The tidal friction generated by Jupiter's massive gravity constantly flexes the core of the Moon, generating internal heat. This heat slowly seeps out through the vents, warming the dark waters, creating gentle, rising currents that move slowly through the abyss. You are suspended in this vast, dark, liquid void. You cannot see your own hands. You cannot hear a single sound. There is only the sensation of the warm, gentle current slowly washing over you, carrying you weightlessly through the endless dark. It is the ultimate sensory deprivation chamber. With nothing to see and nothing to hear, your mind has no choice but to let go. The constant stream of thoughts, the worries of tomorrow, the regrets of yesterday, they simply dissolve into the warm, black water. You are completely isolated, perfectly insulated from the rest of the chaotic universe, floating peacefully in an ocean that has been asleep in the dark for 4 billion years. Slowly, effortlessly, we rise from the dark, warm depths of Europa's hidden ocean. We break through the ancient, fractured ice crust and float back into the silent, star-filled vacuum of space. The immense gravity of Jupiter gently lets us go, and we drift further outward, into the vast, freezing distances of the outer solar system. We are traveling millions of miles through the empty dark, but there is no rush. Time here is fluid and meaningless. Ahead of us, a new giant emerges from the shadows. It is a world of pale gold, muted mustard, and soft, dusty yellow. But it is not the planet itself that captures your weary mind, it is the breathtaking halo that surrounds it. This is Saturn. From Earth, the rings of Saturn look like solid, perfect, unmoving disks of light. But as we float closer, drifting lazily into the planetary system, the illusion dissolves into something infinitely more beautiful and calming. We are not looking at a solid track, we are looking at a cosmic ballet. The rings are composed of trillions upon trillions of individual pieces of pristine water ice. Some are as tiny as a grain of sand, others the size of a small house, and a few as massive as a mountain. Imagine yourself drifting directly into the main ring system. You are completely weightless, suspended in the middle of a massive, silent river of glittering ice. The sun is far away now, its light softened and dimmed, but it still catches the edges of the ice fragments, making them sparkle like crushed diamonds scattered across a velvet cloth. Despite the incredible speeds at which these ice particles orbit the planet, The scale is so unimaginably vast that everything appears to be moving in extreme slow motion. There are no violent collisions here. The pieces of ice do not crash, they simply glide past one another with a gentle, hushed grace. They perform a perfect, synchronized dance governed by the steady, ancient laws of gravity. Float on your back and watch the massive, pale golden sphere of Saturn turning endlessly below you. The rings cast long, sharp, dramatic shadows across the planet's cloud tops, marking the slow, majestic passage of the seasons. Let your eyes unfocus. Let the hypnotic, circular motion of the trillions of ice particles draw you in. It is a visual metronome, a giant, soothing pendulum swinging back and forth in the dark, slowly ticking away the exhaustion of your day, replacing your racing thoughts with the quiet, glittering rhythm of the ice. Leaving the glittering, hypnotic rings of Saturn, we let the cosmic currents carry us even deeper into the abyss. We are now incredibly far from home. The sun has shrunk down to nothing more than an unusually bright, distant star in a sea of black. The warmth of the inner solar system is entirely gone, replaced by a profound, preserving cold. Out here in the twilight of the solar system, we encounter the ice giants. Before us lies Neptune. It is a perfect, flawless sphere of the deepest, most calming cobalt blue. Looking at it is like looking into the depths of a quiet, undisturbed ocean at midnight. There are no sharp continents to break the view, no jarring colors to shock the eyes. It is just an endless, soothing expanse of tranquil, azure clouds, woven with thin, wispy bands of white methane ice. We do not just look at Neptune, we sink into it. Allow yourself to gently fall into the thick, blue atmosphere. As you descend, the light from the distant sun quickly fades away. The deep blue deepens into navy, then indigo, and finally, into a soft, comforting, enveloping darkness. You are sinking through layers of hydrogen, helium, and methane. The pressure here is immense, but it does not crush you. Instead, it feels like a heavy, dense fluid wrapping around you, supporting every inch of your tired body. It is the ultimate embrace of the deep. As you float in this crushing, dark, heavy atmosphere, something miraculous begins to happen around you. Because the pressure and temperature are so extreme, the carbon atoms in the methane gas are squeezed together so tightly that they crystallize. They turn into microscopic diamonds. Suddenly, the dark, heavy atmosphere around you is filled with a silent, slow-motion rain. Millions of tiny, flawless diamonds are forming out of the gas and slowly sinking down toward the core of the planet. There is no wind to blow them around. There is no sound of them hitting the ground, for there is no solid ground to hit. They simply fall, drifting downward like a heavy, glittering snowstorm in the pitch-black abyss. Imagine floating in that heavy, dark blue space, watching the faint, almost imperceptible sparkle of the diamond rain falling all around you. It is a rain that never ends, a slow, eternal cascade of precious stones sinking into the heart of an ice giant. There is nothing to achieve here. There is nothing to worry about. There is only the sensation of sinking deeper and deeper, surrounded by the heavy, silent, sparkling descent of the diamond rain. Let the weight of the planet pull you down into a state of absolute, unbreakable rest. We slowly rise from the heavy, diamond-filled depths of Neptune. The crushing, dark blue atmosphere gives way, releasing us back into the pristine vacuum of space. We are moving outward, drifting lazily past the orbit of Pluto and the scattered, frozen remnants of the Kuiper belt. We are entering the true outer limits. The sun, which once dominated our sky with blinding, golden warmth, has now shrunk to nothing more than a brilliantly cold, distant pinprick of light. It casts no real warmth out here. It casts no hard shadows. It simply watches us leave, a fading lantern in an expanding sea of black. We are entering the Oort cloud, the absolute, final frontier of our solar system. This is a spherical shell of trillions of icy bodies, stretching out halfway to the nearest star. But despite the trillions of objects here, the space is so incomprehensibly vast that it is practically empty. You could drift for 1,000 lifetimes and never touch a single piece of ice. Imagine floating in this ultimate borderland. The objects out here, ancient comets made of water, ammonia, and methane ice, are not hurtling through space with blazing tails of gas. They are completely dormant. They are in a state of suspended animation, perfectly preserved in the deep freeze of the cosmic twilight. They have been sleeping here, absolutely motionless, since the very dawn of the solar system, 4.5 billion years ago. You are floating among the sleepers. There is no solar wind to disturb you. There is no planetary gravity to pull you down. The only force acting upon you is the unimaginably weak, almost imperceptible tether of the distant sun, gently keeping you from drifting away entirely. It is a leash made of gossamer, holding you in a state of perfect, weightless equilibrium. Look out into the dark. In every direction, the stars form a steady, unblinking panorama of silver light. The Milky Way stretches across the void like a pale, glowing ribbon of milk and dust. You are standing on the front porch of our star system, looking out into the galactic neighborhood. The profound cold of the Oort cloud is not biting or harsh, it is a numbing, soothing chill. It is the kind of cold that preserves, that slows the heartbeat down to a faint, steady rhythm, and tells the weary mind that it is finally time to hibernate. Let the vast, empty distances absorb the last of your energy. You are exactly where you need to be, floating safely on the edge of the sun. With a gentle, invisible release, we slip the final tether of our host star. We leave the sleeping comets of the Oort cloud behind and cross the threshold into the interstellar medium. This is the true deep space. The void between the stars. Down on Earth, the night sky is defined by the light of distant suns, but out here, the distances are so staggeringly vast that the light simply becomes a soft, ambient glow. The darkness is absolute. But the darkness is not empty. As we drift through the silent, freezing ocean of the galaxy, a massive, invisible shape slowly occults the distant stars. It casts no light of its own. It reflects no sun. It is a ghost ship sailing through the cosmic night. This is a rogue planet. A wandering orphan of the universe. Billions of years ago, in the chaotic, violent early days of a distant solar system, this planet was violently ejected from its orbit. It was thrown out of its family, cast away from the warmth of its star, and sent drifting into the eternal night. For eons, it has wandered the galaxy alone, completely untethered, bound to no star, following no orbit. It is a world without a sunrise, a world without a sunset, a world without a daytime. We descend slowly toward its invisible surface. As we get closer, the faint, ambient starlight reveals a world entirely encased in a thick shell of black ice. If it ever had oceans, they froze solid billions of years ago. If it ever had an atmosphere, it collapsed and fell to the ground as a silent snowfall of frozen nitrogen. The entire planet is a tomb of perfect, undisturbed silence. To stand on the surface of a rogue planet is to experience the ultimate definition of solitude. The ground beneath you is harder than steel, frozen down to the very core. Above you, there is no sky, only the naked, unfiltered expanse of the universe. There is no ticking clock of seasons to measure the passage of time. A million years here feels exactly the same as a single second. But in this profound isolation, there is a deep, abiding peace. The rogue planet demands nothing from the universe, and the universe demands nothing in return. It does not need the warmth of a star to validate its existence. It simply exists, drifting slowly through the dark, carrying the quiet, frozen history of its past. Imagine yourself lying back on that smooth, black ice. The absolute zero temperature does not harm you, it simply freezes your worries, halting the endless, exhausting cycle of human thought. The darkness is so complete that it becomes a heavy, protective shield against the noise of the cosmos. You are a passenger on a silent, wandering ark, completely invisible to the rest of the galaxy, gently carried through the endless night. Let the eternal slumber of the rogue planet become your own. Sink into the black ice. Close your eyes and let the darkness hide you away from the waking world. We gently lift off from the black ice of the wandering orphan, leaving its frozen, silent history behind in the dark. As we drift further across the galactic arm, the absolute black of the interstellar void begins to soften. A faint, almost imperceptible warmth brushes against us. Ahead, the darkness is slowly giving way to a massive, glowing tapestry of color. It looks like a delicate watercolor painting spilled across the canvas of the cosmos. We are approaching the Orion Nebula, a magnificent stellar nursery. From a distance, it appears as a glowing, ethereal cloud of soft magenta, deep violet, and electric blue. But as we float closer, drawn by the gentle, collective gravity of the nebula, the scale of this cosmic cloud becomes almost impossible to comprehend. It is dozens of light-years across, a vast, luminous ocean of ionized hydrogen gas and incredibly fine cosmic dust. It is the birthplace of stars, but there is no loud machinery here, no sudden explosions of creation. The birth of a star is an agonizingly slow, silent process that takes millions of years to unfold. Imagine drifting right into the heart of this glowing cloud. You are completely surrounded by a thick, luminous mist. The light here does not come from a single, blinding sun, it emanates from the gas itself, energized by the young, hot stars hidden deep within the dust. It is a soft, omnipresent glow that casts no shadows. The harsh contrasts of the universe, the blinding light and the pitch-black void, are completely erased here. Everything is blended into a seamless, comforting haze of warm color. You are floating in a cosmic cradle. The gas around you is thinner than any vacuum we can create on Earth, yet on this massive scale, it looks like thick, swirling cotton candy. Slowly, over hundreds of thousands of years, pockets of this dust gently gather together, pulling inward under their own microscopic gravity. There is absolutely no rush. The universe is taking its time, slowly weaving the fabric of new solar systems in the quiet dark. Breathe in the soft, glowing light. Let the massive, protective walls of the nebula wrap around you. The frantic pace of human life cannot exist in a place where a single breath takes a millennium. Let the slow, ancient rhythms of the stellar nursery become your own. You are a speck of dust, floating weightlessly in a glowing, infinite cloud, completely safe and entirely at peace. We drift deeper into the heart of the galaxy, leaving the soft magentas of Orion for a structure so monumental, so awe-inspiring, that it feels like stepping into a grand, silent cathedral built for giants. Emerging from the glowing haze of the Eagle Nebula, towering silhouettes begin to take shape. These are the pillars of creation. They are colossal, majestic towers of cold interstellar gas and dust, reaching light years into the heavens. They look like ancient, weathered mountains of smoke, their edges glowing with a pale, golden-green luminescence. To look at them is to feel the true, crushing weight of cosmic scale, but it is not a weight that burdens you. It is a weight that relieves you. When faced with structures so unimaginably vast, every single thought, every worry, and every memory from the tiny blue planet behind you simply evaporates. You are delightfully, perfectly insignificant. We float slowly toward the largest of the pillars. Its surface is not solid. It is a swirling, churning cliff face of dark dust, slowly being sculpted and eroded by the ultraviolet light of distant, unseen stars. The light gently washes over the pillar like a slow, eternal ocean wave, stripping away the finest layers of gas, leaving behind denser, darker knots of dust that shelter the seeds of unborn stars. Imagine yourself drifting right along the edge of this towering cosmic cliff. The structure rises infinitely above you and drops infinitely below you. It is a wall of absolute, quiet majesty. You are suspended in the void beside it, moving at a glacial pace, watching the slow-motion erosion of a structure that has stood here for eons. There is a profound heaviness to the pillars. They look solid, like ancient stone monuments, standing as silent guardians in the chaotic sea of the galaxy. Let that visual heaviness transfer to your own body. Feel your limbs becoming heavier, your breathing becoming deeper and slower. As you float beside the dark, majestic wall of the pillar, the gentle, golden light from the surrounding nebula bathes your face. It is a warm, sleepy light. You are resting in the shadow of giants, cradled in the vast, slow-moving architecture of the heavens. Close your eyes and let the sheer, magnificent weight of the pillars anchor your drifting mind into a state of deep, unbreakable rest. Leaving the towering, majestic dust cliffs of the pillars of creation behind, we drift into a quieter, older neighborhood of the Milky Way. The bright, chaotic blue and white stars of the stellar nurseries fade away. The intense, blinding light of young suns is replaced by something infinitely softer, infinitely more patient. We are entering the domain of the red dwarfs. These are the most common stars in the universe, yet they are nearly invisible to the naked eye from Earth. They are small, ancient, and incredibly calm. Unlike the massive, angry blue giants that burn violently and explode in a fleeting cosmic moment, a red dwarf is the ultimate survivor. It does not rage against the dark, it simply hums. It burns its hydrogen fuel so slowly, and with such perfect, quiet efficiency, that a single red dwarf can continue to shine steadily for trillions of years. Imagine floating gently toward one of these ancient, glowing embers. It is not a blinding sphere of white-hot plasma. It is a deep, soothing crimson. It looks like the final, glowing coal left behind in a fireplace long after the roaring flames have died down. The heat it radiates is not harsh or blistering, it is a soft, ambient warmth, like a heavy woolen blanket wrapped around you on a freezing winter night. There is no rush here. The red dwarf has all the time in the universe. It is the steady, unchanging heartbeat of the cosmos. As you drift in its low, gentle orbit, bathed in its dark, rosy light, the concept of urgency completely dissolves. Trillions of years stretch out before this little star, an unbroken eternity of quiet, reliable warmth. Let the crimson light wash over your closed eyelids. It is a visual lullaby, a color that naturally slows the brainwaves and signals to the body that the day is truly over. The frantic energy of the universe has settled down here into a permanent, peaceful twilight. You are safe in the glow of the oldest, calmest fires in the dark. Let your breathing match the slow, eternal, unwavering hum of the red dwarf. In this quiet corner of the galaxy, there is nothing left to do but rest. Now, we must let go of the stars entirely. We are pulling back, drifting upward and outward, leaving the comforting crimson glow of the red dwarf behind. We are floating up through the galactic plane, rising above the spiraling arms of the Milky Way. As we ascend, our entire galaxy, with its hundreds of billions of stars, its nebula clouds, and its black holes, shrinks into a single, swirling disk of pale light. But we do not stop there. We continue to drift backward into the ultimate abyss, moving so incredibly far away that even the galaxies themselves begin to look like tiny, glowing specks of dust suspended in a sunbeam. We are stepping out to the very edge of the observable universe, looking at the grandest, largest structure in all of existence, the cosmic web. At this unimaginable macro scale, the universe is not a random scattering of galaxies. It is a magnificent, glowing architecture. The galaxies are clustered together, forming massive, brilliant nodes of light, connected by impossibly long, delicate filaments of dark matter and intergalactic gas. It looks exactly like a colossal, glowing neural network, a cosmic brain quietly dreaming in the endless dark. Between these glowing threads lie the cosmic voids, spheres of absolute, unbroken emptiness that span hundreds of millions of light years. They are the quietest places in reality. Imagine yourself suspended in one of these grand, silent voids. You are floating between the glowing threads of the cosmic web. You are cradled in the very architecture of the universe itself. The glowing filaments of galaxies surround you at an unimaginable distance, casting a faint, ghostly illumination across the blackness. The sheer scale of this view completely erases the concept of the individual self. You are a passenger in the grandest, quietest vehicle imaginable. Think of the cosmic web as a giant, celestial hammock woven from the gravity of 1 trillion galaxies. You are lying exactly in the center of it. The incredibly slow, majestic expansion of the universe gently rocks the entire structure, a microscopic sway taking billions of years to complete a single motion. It is the breathing of the cosmos. Inhale, the void expands. Exhale, the filaments stretch. Feel the gentle, impossibly slow rocking of the cosmic web. You are supported by the very fabric of space-time. There is no possibility of falling because there is no down. There is only the soft, glowing architecture of the universe, holding you perfectly still in the dark. Let your mind expand into the empty spaces between the galaxies. Let the silence of the great voids fill you completely. From the impossibly vast and glowing architecture of the cosmic web, we slowly let ourselves sink back down into the darker, quieter depths of the galaxy. We are leaving the grand view behind, drifting gently through the interstellar medium, seeking the ultimate source of stillness in the universe. We are looking for a place where not only motion ceases, but where time itself begins to fall asleep. Ahead of us, the faint, ambient starlight of the Milky Way begins to distort. It does not disappear, but it bends, warping softly around a perfect, invisible sphere of absolute nothingness. We are approaching a dormant black hole. This is not the violent, roaring monster of the early universe, surrounded by a blazing disk of superheated plasma and screaming in X-rays. Those days are billions of years in the past. This black hole has long since finished its feast. It has swallowed all the gas and dust in its immediate neighborhood, and now it sits entirely alone in the dark, a sleeping giant in a profound state of hibernation. It emits no light. It makes no sound. It is a flawless, three-dimensional shadow suspended in the void. Imagine yourself drifting toward this silent sphere. As you get closer to the event horizon, the boundary of no return, you do not feel a violent pull. You only feel an incredibly smooth, powerful, and stabilizing gravity. It is the heaviest object you can possibly imagine, and that sheer, incomprehensible mass creates a profound sense of anchoring. You are drifting into the deepest gravity well in the cosmos, a place so heavy that it bends the very fabric of reality around it like a soft mattress yielding to a sleeper. But the most mesmerizing, calming effect of this sleeping giant is what it does to time. According to the laws of relativity, the stronger the gravity, the slower time moves. As you float here, resting just safely outside the event horizon, you are experiencing extreme gravitational time dilation. For the rest of the universe, millions of years might be rushing by. Galaxies are spinning, stars are being born and dying in a frantic, endless cycle of cosmic chaos. But for you, floating in the gentle, dark embrace of the black hole, time has almost completely stopped. A single second here stretches out into an eternity. A single, slow breath takes a millennium to complete. The relentless, exhausting ticking of the clock that governs human life, the deadlines, the mornings, the endless rush of days, simply cannot exist here. The black hole has swallowed the concept of urgency. It has crushed the anxiety of the future into a single, still, eternal moment. Let the immense, invisible weight of the sleeping giant hold you in place. Look at the starlight curving gently around the edges of the dark sphere, creating a soft, mesmerizing halo of distorted light. You are safe. You are anchored in the heaviest, quietest harbor in the universe, wrapped in a blanket of gravity so thick that time itself cannot reach you. Let your mind finally stop racing, for here, in the shadow of the black hole, there is absolutely nowhere to be, and an eternity of time to do nothing at all. We gently push away from the heavy, timeless harbor of the sleeping black hole, letting the slow currents of the galaxy carry us back into the open ocean of space. The extreme distortion of time fades, returning us to the steady, calm rhythm of the deep dark. We drift for an unimaginably long time, surrounded by the quiet, silver dust of ancient nebulas, until a rhythmic, pulsing glow catches our attention in the distance. It is not the chaotic, blinding light of a young star system. It is a soft, synchronized pulse, beating with the slow, deliberate rhythm of a resting heart. As we float closer, emerging from the interstellar mist, we see two ancient, glowing spheres. They are a binary star system, but they are not the fiery giants of their youth. They are two white dwarfs, the incredibly dense, slowly cooling, crystallized cores of dead stars. They have lived their long, billions of years lives, shed their outer layers of gas, and are now spending their retirement together in the dark. They are roughly the size of the Earth, but they glow with a faint, ghostly, pale blue luminescence. And they are locked in a perfect, endless embrace. Imagine floating just above them, weightless in the dark, watching their eternal cosmic waltz. They do not collide. They do not tear each other apart. They orbit a single, invisible center of gravity directly between them, tied together by a perfectly balanced, unbreakable thread of gravitational force. Around and around they go, tracing massive, silent circles in the void. The sheer elegance of their movement is deeply hypnotic. It is a slow, sweeping, circular motion that has been repeating flawlessly for hundreds of millions of years. As one pale star swings toward you, the other swings away, creating a mesmerizing, visual metronome in the absolute blackness of space. The rhythm is so smooth, so perfectly predictable, that your weary mind cannot help but synchronize with it. Watch the slow, curving path of the pale blue light. Inhale slowly as the first star approaches the peak of its orbit, and exhale completely as the second star gracefully takes its place. Inhale the cool, quiet dark of the void, exhale the lingering, heavy exhaustion of the day. The binary stars ask nothing of the universe. They are not trying to create new planets or foster new life. Their complex, chaotic work was finished eons ago. Now, they simply exist to maintain their perfect, quiet balance. They are the guardians of symmetry, turning endlessly in the dark like a giant, soothing mobile hanging above the crib of the cosmos. Let the slow, sweeping circles of the white dwarfs draw your eyes back and forth. Let their pale, ghostly light wash over you, smoothing out the last remaining ridges of tension in your mind. You are drifting perfectly in time with their ancient waltz. Follow their endless, quiet circles deeper and deeper, until the rhythm of the stars becomes the rhythm of your own deep sleep. We leave the mesmerizing, eternal waltz of the white dwarfs behind, their pale blue light slowly dissolving into the vast, absolute black of the interstellar void. We are now drifting into the spaces between the stars, the massive, seemingly empty gulfs that make up the vast majority of our galaxy. To the human eye, there is nothing here. No glowing gas, no burning suns, no swirling dust. Just pure, unadulterated emptiness. But in the quiet physics of the cosmos, true emptiness does not exist. We are entering the dark matter ocean. This is the invisible scaffolding of the universe. Dark matter makes up 85% of all the mass in the cosmos, yet it interacts with absolutely nothing except gravity. It does not absorb light. It does not reflect light. It casts no shadow. You cannot touch it, you cannot hear it, and you cannot see it. But it is here, everywhere around us, a massive, silent presence that holds the entire spinning galaxy together. Without this invisible weight, the Milky Way would fly apart into the cold dark. Imagine yourself floating directly into the center of this unseen ocean. Because dark matter only interacts through gravity, it creates a profoundly gentle, omnipresent pressure. It is not the crushing weight of a planet's atmosphere or the violent pull of a black hole. It is a soft, completely uniform heaviness that surrounds you from every possible direction at once. It feels like sinking into a massive, infinitely deep pool of warm, heavy water where you are perfectly suspended, unable to fall, and completely insulated from the physical universe. Here, in the invisible ocean, there is nothing for your eyes to focus on. There is no horizon to reach. There is no landscape to navigate. The absolute lack of visual stimulation allows your optic nerves to finally, completely power down. The dark matter does not demand your attention. It only offers its immense, quiet support. Let the invisible mass of the galaxy hold you. Feel that soft, omnipresent gravity gently pressing against your tired muscles, absorbing the last, stubborn remnants of tension in your shoulders and your neck. You are cradled in the very substance that anchors the stars. The universe is holding you in its massive, unseen hands, ensuring that you are perfectly safe, perfectly still, and entirely hidden from the noisy, glowing world of ordinary matter. Sink deeper into the invisible dark. Let the weight of the galaxy pull you down into a heavy, dreamless sleep. Slowly, the invisible currents of the dark matter ocean carry us toward the absolute edge of a forgotten star system. We are millions of miles away from any source of heat. Out here, the cold is absolute, bringing all atomic motion to a virtual standstill. Drifting out of the pitch-black void, a world appears below us. It is not a gas giant, and it is not a rocky, cratered moon. It is a world of perfect, flawless symmetry. We have arrived at the frozen mirror. Millions of years ago, this rogue planet possessed a global ocean of pure, distilled water. As it drifted further and further from its dying star, the temperature dropped with agonizing slowness. Without any wind to disturb the surface, without any tectonic plates to crack the crust, the entire global ocean froze perfectly, flawlessly solid. It froze so evenly and so cleanly that there is not a single ripple, not a single fracture, not a single imperfection on the entire planet. It is a world-sized mirror, polished to an unimaginable perfection by the sheer, quiet cold of deep space. We drift downward, floating just a few inches above the surface. Look down. Because the ice is so perfectly smooth, it reflects the night sky with absolute clarity. Beneath you, you do not see solid ground, you see the entire Milky Way galaxy reflected back at you in perfect detail. You are suspended between two identical, infinite heavens. The stars above you and the stars below you merge into a single, seamless sphere of quiet, silver light. There is no up or down here. The horizon is completely invisible, lost in the perfect reflection of the cosmos. The stillness of this world is so absolute that it feels like a physical law. If you were to let out a breath, there is no air to carry the sound. If you were to shed a tear, it would freeze into a microscopic diamond before it ever touched the ice. Imagine your own mind becoming like the surface of this frozen world. Throughout the day, your thoughts are like a storm, creating endless, chaotic ripples across the water of your consciousness. But here, in the profound, preserving cold of the frozen mirror, those ripples are finally slowing down. The storm has passed. The temperature of your mind is dropping, freezing the surface into a perfect, glassy calm. Every anxious thought, every lingering worry, is smoothed over and locked away beneath the flawless ice. Look at the perfect reflection of the stars beneath you. Your mind is now just as clear, just as smooth, and just as deeply silent. You are a mirror reflecting only the quiet, ancient peace of the universe. Breathe in the absolute stillness. Exhale the very last of your thoughts. Let the frozen symmetry of this world hold you in a state of perfect, undisturbed tranquility. We leave the flawless, frozen mirror of the rogue planet, allowing its perfect reflection of the stars to fade into the endless dark. We are now drifting so far and so deeply into the cosmos that we are not just traveling through space, we are traveling through the deepest corridors of time itself. We are moving forward, billions and trillions of years into the future, approaching the ultimate destiny of the cosmos. We are entering the era of the heat death. To the waking mind, the concept of a heat death sounds like a violent end. But out here, in the extreme slow-motion reality of the deep future, it is exactly the opposite. The heat death is not an explosion. It is the great, final exhalation of the universe. It is the moment when all the work is finally done. For eons, the universe has been a busy, chaotic place. Stars furiously burned their fuel, galaxies collided in massive gravitational wars, and supernovas violently reshaped the interstellar dust. The cosmos has been exhausting itself, expending unimaginable amounts of energy just to keep the lights on. But thermodynamics dictates that all energy must eventually smooth out. All fires must eventually burn down to embers, and all embers must eventually cool into ash. Imagine floating in this deep, deep future. The bright, chaotic blue stars have all died out. The red dwarfs have quietly faded into black, crystalline spheres. The galaxies have stopped spinning. The universe has expanded so far and stretched so wide that the distance between any two objects is incomprehensibly vast. There is no more heat transferring from one place to another. There is no more friction. There is no more gravity pulling things together to create new stars. Everything has reached a state of perfect, absolute thermodynamic equilibrium. The universe is completely, evenly, and perfectly cold. It is the ultimate state of rest. The cosmos is no longer fighting against the dark, it has surrendered to it, willingly and peacefully. Think of a massive, ancient machine that has been running loudly and tirelessly for trillions of years. Now, imagine the heavy, satisfying silence when that machine is finally unplugged. The low hum dies down. The gears slowly spin to a halt. The heat dissipates into the cool air. You are floating in that absolute, final silence. There is no energy left to fuel your anxieties. There is no spark left to ignite a rushing thought. The universe itself has gone to sleep, pulling the dark, heavy blanket of entropy over its vast expanse. Let your own mind mimic this cosmic cool-down. Let the friction of your thoughts slowly grind to a halt. The work of the day is over. The work of the universe is over. Sink into the profound, heavy peace of the heat death, where absolutely nothing is expected of you, forever. As we float in the absolute calm of the deep future, we realize that even in this perfect stillness, we are not truly alone. There is a gentle, invisible tide moving through the darkness. It is a tide that has been flowing since the very first moments of creation, completely silent and completely unseen. We are drifting in the sea of neutrinos. Neutrinos are the ghost particles of the cosmos. Trillions of them are produced in the hearts of dying stars and the violent collisions of ancient galaxies. But unlike the heavy atoms that make up planets, or the photons that carry light, neutrinos interact with almost nothing. They are so incomprehensibly small and carry such a neutral charge that they can pass straight through a block of solid lead a light-year thick without ever hitting a single atom. Right now, as you float in the dark, trillions of these ghost particles are passing through the empty space around you. They are passing through the frozen planets, sweeping through the sleeping black holes, and flowing gently through your own weightless body. Imagine this invisible river. It is not a current that pushes you or pulls you. It is a completely frictionless flow. It is a reminder of how porous, how empty, and how light the physical universe truly is. When you feel the heavy burden of your own physical body, the ache in your muscles, the tension in your chest, the heaviness of your breathing, remember the neutrinos. To the universe, your body is not a solid, heavy object. It is a vast, empty constellation of atoms, mostly made up of empty space. You are as light as a ghost. Allow your mind to adopt the nature of a neutrino. Imagine your stressful thoughts, your earthly responsibilities, and your heavy memories trying to grab hold of you. But they cannot. You have become completely intangible. The worries of the waking world simply pass right through you, finding no resistance, causing no friction, and leaving no trace behind. You are drifting effortlessly in this invisible sea, completely untethered from the heavy, physical laws of the world. You are a ghost floating through a sleeping universe. Let the tension melt completely out of your bones. There is nothing solid left to hold on to, and nothing solid left to hold you back. Let the endless, silent stream of ghost particles wash you clean of the day's exhaustion, leaving you feeling perfectly empty and perfectly light. Carried by the invisible, frictionless tide of the deep cosmos, we slowly approach a massive, isolated structure drifting in the interstellar void. It is a rogue super-Earth, a planet exponentially larger than our own, but locked in the same eternal, freezing night. However, this world is not a perfectly smooth, frozen mirror. It is a world of agonizingly slow, titanic motion. We are hovering over the drifting continents of ice. Because this planet is so massive, its deep internal core still generates a microscopic amount of heat, enough to keep a sluggish, viscous layer of liquid water buried hundreds of miles beneath the surface. Above this hidden ocean sits a crust made entirely of solid, dark blue ice, broken into colossal tectonic plates. These continents of ice are larger than any landmass on Earth, and they are engaged in a slow, silent planetary drift. But the scale of time here is so stretched, so profoundly elongated, that a single millimeter of movement takes 1,000 years. Imagine floating just above the jagged, towering mountain ranges of this dark blue ice. It looks like a still photograph, completely frozen and static. But if you were to stay here, resting in the absolute dark for 1,000,000 years, you would see the heavy, majestic breathing of the planet. You would see the colossal plates of ice slowly, imperceptibly pressing against one another, silently pushing the frozen mountains a fraction of an inch higher into the starless sky. There is a deep, comforting heaviness to this extremely slow motion. The universe is not in a hurry. It does not demand immediate results. It is willing to wait 1,000,000 years just to move a single block of ice. As you float above the dark, jagged continents, let the impossible slowness of this world seep into your own perception of time. When you are lying awake in the dark, the passing minutes can feel like a punishment. The ticking of the clock sounds like a rushing river, sweeping you toward the morning before you are ready. But here, above the frozen continents, the clock has been shattered. Time is no longer a rushing river, it is a massive, slow-moving glacier. It barely creeps forward. Let your breathing synchronize with the agonizingly slow tectonic drift of the planet. Inhale, taking 1,000 years to fill your lungs. Exhale, releasing the breath over another 1,000 years. You are anchored to the slowest moving object in the endless dark. There is no morning rushing toward you. There is only the long, heavy, eternal night, and the slow, silent shifting of the ice. We slowly leave the massive, drifting continents of ice behind, allowing the dark, silent rogue planet to continue its eternal journey through the abyss. We are now rising. We are drifting upward, far above the flat, spinning disk of the Milky Way. As we ascend into the pristine, empty heights of the cosmos, the chaotic spiral arms of the galaxy, with their gas clouds, their stellar nurseries, and their bright, dying stars, fall away beneath us, becoming nothing more than a soft, swirling pool of pale light. We are entering a sanctuary of absolute, ancient stillness. We have reached the galactic halo. This spherical realm surrounds our galaxy like a massive, invisible dome. It is completely devoid of the dust and gas needed to make new stars. The turbulent, noisy era of creation ended here billions of years ago. What remains are the globular clusters, massive, spherical swarms containing hundreds of thousands of the oldest stars in the entire universe. Imagine floating effortlessly toward one of these ancient, glowing spheres. From a distance, It looks like a handful of glowing, golden sand suspended perfectly in a droplet of water. As you drift closer, drawn by the gentle, collective gravity of a million ancient suns, you realize that there are no blue giants here. There are no angry, violently burning stars. Every single star in this massive cluster is an ancient, slow-burning red dwarf or a dying, golden-yellow sun. They are packed closely together, yet they never collide. They move in a perfectly orchestrated, incredibly slow, multidimensional dance that has remained completely unchanged since the very dawn of time. To float inside a globular cluster is to float inside the grandest, quietest, and most ancient cathedral ever constructed. The light here is profoundly soothing. It is not the harsh, blinding glare of a young solar system. It is a deeply saturated, warm, golden amber hue that bathes everything in a permanent, heavenly twilight. There are no planets here, no asteroids, and no dust to obscure the view. There is only the pure, soft, eternal light of a million ancient elders keeping their quiet vigil in the dark. Let the incredible age of this place wash over you. These stars were burning before the Earth was even a thought, and they will continue to burn long after our sun has faded away. They have seen the entire history of the cosmos, and they remain completely undisturbed. In their presence, the fleeting anxieties of a single human day are reduced to absolutely nothing. Imagine your mind absorbing the profound patience of the globular cluster. Let the warm, golden amber light soak into your tired eyes, smoothing away the strain of the waking world. You are held safely in a sphere of ancient light, anchored high above the noise of the galaxy, slowly orbiting the center of the universe in a grand, sweeping circle that takes hundreds of millions of years to complete. There is nothing to rush toward. There is nothing to run from. There is only the slow, golden turn of the ancient stars, guiding you deeper into an unbreakable rest. We let the ancient, golden light of the globular cluster slowly fade into the distance, slipping the final, fragile bonds of the Milky Way's gravity. We are now leaving our galactic home entirely. We drift out into the intergalactic void, the impossibly vast, staggering emptiness that separates the island universes. Out here, the darkness is so profound, so absolute, that it feels less like an empty space and more like a heavy, physical substance. You are floating in the deepest ocean of the cosmos. If you look back, the entire Milky Way is nothing but a faint, hazy smudge of light lost in the overwhelming black. If you look forward, there is nothing but the infinite dark. To the human eye, you are surrounded by an absolute, freezing nothingness. But in the grand, invisible physics of the universe, you are actually wrapped in the most comforting, omnipresent blanket that has ever existed. You are swimming in the fading echo. 14 billion years ago, the universe began in a state of unimaginable heat, density, and blinding light. As the cosmos expanded, that initial, furious burst of creation was stretched. It cooled down. The blinding light shifted into the red, then into the infrared, and finally, it stretched so far that it became entirely invisible to our eyes, turning into faint microwaves. This is the cosmic microwave background radiation. It is the afterglow of the Big Bang. It is the very first light of the universe, and it is still here, filling every single microscopic inch of the cosmos. Imagine this ancient, invisible light. Because it is absolutely everywhere, it has no direction. It does not shine from a specific star. It does not cast a shadow. It surrounds you completely, pressing gently against you from above, from below, and from every side simultaneously. Though it has cooled to just a fraction of a degree above absolute zero, try to visualize this background radiation as a soft, imperceptible warmth. It is the fading body heat of the universe itself. It is a cosmic blanket woven from the very first moments of time, carrying the incredibly stretched, slow-motion whisper of creation. As you float in the absolute dark of the intergalactic void, let yourself be wrapped in this primordial blanket. You are literally bathing in the oldest energy in existence. The light that is touching you right now has been traveling through the empty dark for almost 14 billion years, completely undisturbed, just to reach you in this exact moment, to hold you in the quiet space between the galaxies. Listen to the profound, overwhelming silence of the void. But beneath that silence, imagine you can feel the faint, steady, impossibly low hum of the microwave background. It is the universe humming a lullaby to itself. It is a frequency so low, so old, and so deeply ingrained in the fabric of reality that your own brainwaves cannot help but harmonize with it. Let the fading echo absorb you. You are no longer a physical body burdened by gravity. You are just another wave of energy, slowly stretching out, cooling down, and blending flawlessly into the quiet, ancient background of the cosmos. Let the universe hum you to sleep. Surrender entirely to the dark, and let the oldest light in existence carry you away. As we drift endlessly through the fading echo, wrapped in the oldest, dimmest light of creation, we realize that the universe is not just expanding in size, it is expanding into an ultimate, profound stillness. We are moving toward a physical limit that cannot be crossed. A boundary where the very concept of energy ceases to exist. We are descending into the realm of absolute zero. In the physical world you left behind, heat is simply motion. The faster atoms vibrate, the hotter they become. The frantic, anxious energy of a racing mind is just like this, a storm of microscopic motion, desperately trying to solve problems that belong to tomorrow. But out here, in the infinite, stretching dark, the universe is slowly forgetting how to move. Imagine you are sinking into a place where the temperature drops so low that even the laws of quantum mechanics begin to fall asleep. At absolute zero, -273 degrees Celsius, atomic vibration completely stops. It is the ultimate cosmic pause button. The universe holds its breath, and it does not exhale. Floating in this absolute zero point, you are not freezing, you are being preserved. The chaotic storm of your thoughts cannot survive here. The anxiety of the ticking clock, the dread of seeing the morning light creep through the curtains before you've rested, the heavy exhaustion that waits for you in the afternoon, all of those fears require energy to exist. And here, there is no energy left to give them. Visualize your physical body losing its dense, earthly weight. As the imaginary temperature around you drops to absolute zero, the tension in your jaw, the tightness in your shoulders, and the heavy feeling in your chest all solidify, and then gently shatter into a million microscopic, weightless pieces of ice, drifting harmlessly away into the dark. You are a statue carved from the stillness of the cosmos. There is no past to regret, and there is absolutely no future to rush toward. The universe has paused entirely just for you. Let the profound, perfect immobility of absolute zero seep into your mind. You do not need to try to sleep anymore. The struggle is over. The motion has stopped. You are held in a state of flawless, unbreakable stasis, resting in the quietest place that has ever existed. We have reached the end of the universe. We have traveled from the noisy, spinning blue marble of Earth, past the giant storms of Jupiter, through the diamond rains of Neptune, and out into the vast, invisible oceans of dark matter. We have watched the ancient stars slowly burn out, and we have felt the first light of creation stretch into a silent, fading whisper. Now, there is nowhere left to go. The journey is complete. The cosmos is closing its heavy eyes, and it is time for you to do the same. Look out into the dark one last time. There are no more stars to guide you. There are no more planets to explore. The glowing dust of the nebulas has dissolved, and the deep, silent voids have expanded to swallow the light. The visual world is slowly fading away, leaving behind a blank, comforting, and perfect black canvas. The screen in front of you is going dark. The light of the room has faded. The only thing left is the sound of your own, slow, steady breathing, matching the gentle, rhythmic hum of the resting universe. You have permission to let go. You have permission to forget the morning. If the hours of the night have dragged on, if you have fought the darkness trying to find rest, you can lay down your armor now. The universe does not judge you for being awake, and it does not demand that you wake up at a certain time. The cosmos only offers you this vast, silent expanse, asking nothing in return. Imagine yourself lying back onto the softest, heaviest, and darkest cloud of interstellar dust. It wraps around you completely, shielding your eyes from the light, insulating your ears from the noise, and holding your body in a state of perfect, weightless suspension. This is the final sleep. The universe has turned off all the lights. The galactic machinery has been powered down. The ancient, silent guardians of the void are watching over you, ensuring that nothing will disturb this profound peace. Take one final, incredibly slow, deep breath in, drawing in the cool, quiet essence of the deep space. And as you exhale, let go of the world completely. The universe is asleep, and you are safe within it. Rest now. Fade into the dark. Let the silence of space carry you through the night. This is silence of space. Good night.